to me, the characters...
They're in early access.
The characters, yeah, and that's why
and
I say...
they released their update 2 weeks after release, dude.
So
2
what are
weeks
people
after
supposed
launch.
to do, like, while they're waiting for it to be finished? Like, I mean, it clearly says it's not finished. You know, I'm not saying, like, they're being misleading or whatever, but that's why I'm saying people are going to get bored of that. And my question is why, if that many people are interested in a survival game and going to put that effort in, like, why not play Ark? It's the creatures are way more integrated together. The creatures in Palworld are pretty much just palling around. Like there's not an ecosystem. It doesn't appear like there's definitely like, you know, skills that they have like when you train them and whatever. But when they're out there in the wild, like kind of interacting, it just seems like they're just bopping around.
Are you trying
to
pull people away from Palworld and bring them over to Ark? Damn, I just closed the outline. Chuck, what's going on, man?
Not much, man. Hanging in
I'm
here.
already failing. I'm already failing big time over here.
Yeah, fuck
so,
man.
Palworld, man. You know how many days this game has been out?
What, it came out January 24th, something like that, 26th?
No, it came out on the 19th.
19th, wow.
On Steam. I'm pretty darn sure. At least that's what it says on their website. And what is today? Today's the 3rd. So, a few weeks, right? Yeah, we're looking at, it's been out for like 2 weeks. And they've already, you mentioned this a second ago, I think they've already sold a total of 19 million copies, it looks like. Wow. That's what I saw on their, like on some Twitter thing, I think on their official Twitter for, what's the name of the developer and publisher? Which are one and the same in this case? Pocket Pair, one word. According to the Steam page, I think it's one word. Let me pull it up. I got there.
Like
I got
pair of pants, PAR, like or pear.
That is correct.
Partridge in a pear tree, or pair of aces.
Tree.
I got a pocket pair of aces. Got these 2 rocks in my
pair.
pocket because I like the way rocks feel.
It's a Japanese developer. They're in Tokyo in the Shinagawa. What is it? I forgot the name. I really like it too. Shinagawa City it would be, because yeah, it's Shinjuku City, Shibuya City, and between Shinjuku City and Shibuya City is Shinagawa-ko, I think, or something like that, which I did go through. It's amazing. But yeah, that's where they're located.
How many people we
Pocket
talking?
pair.
Like millions, like city-wise?
I don't know how many are in the Shinagawa City area, but in Tokyo, I've seen 37 million. I've seen 39 million.
Great day.
So, you know, somewhere around
That's
there.
a lot of folks.
A lot of people. So the developer Pocket Pair, they're in Tokyo, Japan, and 19 million units. Chuck.
Dude, that's why we're here. Like we had to talk about this. Like I, you know,
and we're really late to the game because it's been out since the 19th of January. I wasn't sure if I said that was like 2 or 3 weeks, but it's been some time now. And I mean, if you haven't heard about this game, is it fair to say that you're under a damn rock, Chuck?
You are under a rock.
Or at least a big damn gaming rock, at least.
Like,
I mean,
yeah.
Even like
everywhere, social media.
Yeah,
like,
it's all over the place. So yeah, if you're anywhere, if you're like a gamer or you rub shoulders with that world, you've probably heard of this game, Palworld, from Pocket Pair. Which I got to say this, and I don't I mean it in like a really great way, but in a really great way. I mean it in a loving way. But the name Pocket Pair is totally like a Japanese name, dude, for a developer. It's like, and then the name Palworld, it's like it's just so
they
perfect.
Double down on that.
I think it's perfect, dude. And that actually brings some other things to mind that I've written down here in my notepad. I hope I don't forget. I might as well mention them right now. Fuck it. There's like interviews with the main developer. Well, I don't know if he's the main developer because they've actually got an interesting story. Let me go to their webpage here. But yeah, the CEO of Pocket Pair, and I think he's also like, I saw him referenced as the producer on Wikipedia, but his name is Takuro Mizobe. I think there were interviews with him or someone on his team where they were like asking like specific questions about the game development, and their answers were so just matter of fact that they were hilarious. Like when they, one of them was, and they asked him why they wanted to add guns into the game, and they're like, "Well, because Americans love to shoot guns."
They love to shoot things.
And that's why they added guns to the game.
Yeah.
Like that's why they added guns to the game, you know. And then there was
like
another one I wish I could remember.
Appeal. Well, like
oh yeah, and they made the characters kind of like gender neutral, like or age or like age. I don't know. I don't remember the wording they used, but they made it so that like that you could basically create your own character in any way, shape, or form, and the gender wouldn't really like show. I guess I don't know how to describe it. You played the game, so I think you know what I'm talking about.
Instead of saying male and female, it says 1 and 2, like so. or
it's
yeah,
it's
I'm
better
pretty
than
sure it's
0 and 0.
I'm pretty sure it's 1 or 2.
Yeah, that's fine.
I can tell
I
you,
get
like,
but like
the vibe,
go ahead.
like when I saw the choices of the characters or whatever, there was one grizzled ass old dude in the bottom that had like a cut over his eye that kind of wasn't cute like the rest of them, and I quit looking. I was like, there he is, and I got him out. I tried to change his hair, and it just he got cuter like by the second, and I was like, okay. I'm starting over, over, but
reset.
I want to, but like going back to when you first got wind of this game, like what was your first impression? I feel like your knowledge of Japan is
hold
gonna
on. I want to
flavor that, but
yeah, we left my my thing halfway. The reason I asked you that was because another one of the interview questions they did was like why they did that, and it was another just like matter of fact answer that they gave, like, oh, because it seems like with the way things are these days in the world, that'll just fly easier internationally, not so anyways, that I just wanted to nail that point down.
Yeah,
go ahead, continue. Messed up.
Yeah, it sounded like there was a younger kid that was kind of like the source of that probably does have his finger a little more on the pulse of that, like some kid was still in middle school or something.
Yeah, I think it was a young lady, dude. If I
yeah, it's
okay. Like we should preface all of this. Chuck and I are by no means any Palworld experts. I don't think anyone can be at this point. It's only been out for like 2 weeks or something. No. But I haven't had the opportunity to play the game. I'm going to at some point, I promise. Chuck has, but we're not like we only started researching this a little bit deeper like yesterday. 48 hours ago, tops. No, I started maybe like 40 to 72 hours ago. Anyways, go ahead, man. Sorry, I just wanted to preface that so nobody like holds our feet to the fire.
Yeah,
all these pals out there.
I'm kind of curious, like, what was your first thought when you became aware there was a new game coming out called Palworld, and like what you saw about it, like.
Well, it didn't come to me in that way. It was already out. Like, it wasn't like, oh, this new game's coming out. It was already like, have you seen Palworld?
Right, yeah.
And the first time I saw the words Palworld was when no, that's not true because it's not on PlayStation. I was going to say, I thought I saw someone playing it on PlayStation. You know how you can see who's online and what they're playing?
Right, yeah.
Yeah. I thought I spotted that somewhere, but obviously that's not possible. So I don't know, man. Now that I think about it, I mean, it was either you or Pepe Tortilla that told me about it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I mean, that's it.
So
and then from there, it was just like, a lot of Facebook, social media, of course.
Yeah.
Should we do the intro?
Yeah.
Do you want to do the intro?
No.
Welcome, gamers, non-gamers, PvEers, PvPers, and even NPCs, and even pals. We do not discriminate. This is the New Wave Gaming Podcast, and we're happy to have you here for episode 42. About an hour of our hot takes on the new and breakout Palworld from Pocket Pair. Thanks for joining us again, and Chuck, thank you for your time, man, on your weekend here.
Appreciate you too, man, for sure.
And so, wait, what were you asking me before I kind of just rudely asked you if I wanted to stop the podcast?
I guess I wanted to kind of share my first impression when I heard, like there was a game, Palworld, and I think at first, like you do kind of think of Pokemon or something, in that. So definitely like Nintendo vibes from the fonts of things and to some degree, but also something different, like a little bit of like you said, maybe we
was
need
it
to throw
you
some
or
guns
Pepe
in
Tortilla
here.
that said Pepe? It's oh fuck. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, dude. Should I cut that out? I don't know. Was it you or Pepe that Pepe Tortilla that said it's Pokemon with guns?
I think that anytime I heard about it, it was always in that. So probably so. But it's almost like every time I also heard about it anywhere else, I heard that Pokemon with guns, and then and then like it seemed like once people actually started experiencing it, people were more like, it's more like Pokemon with Arc, like and a survival game added to it, and yes, there are guns, but you don't get the guns until like level 20 or so. It takes a minute to get guns, much like in Arc, even like especially
Would you say it was like as if like Pokemon and Arc banged and produced?
It seems like it for sure. The survival element is there. So if you go back to when the first you ever played Ark, like it's a lot to ask of a player to kind of, it's like you yawn and wake up and lean forward and kind of look around, and everything's cool for a minute, like until you do start getting hungry and the actual survival parts of things, you realize like, oh, that meter that I've been noticing in the corner of the screen is, the fact that I'm cold and
this is when you played Palworld?
Any survival game is pretty much like that. It's almost like a prerequisite that there be, you have to survive. Like you have to eat.
But is it because the way you're describing it makes it sound just like Ark, man. And I've played a bunch of survival games that don't start with that initial sequence. Like if you're saying the guy like yawns and wakes up and leans forward, that's like a lot. That's exactly like Ark. When the guy he yawns, wakes up, scratches his arm, and then he's like, there you are. Right?
I guess much like everything with this game, it's a different, yes, it is kind of like that, but it's different enough that, because it's from a third person perspective and like it doesn't like look at his arm or anything like that. And
okay.
Yeah, it's different enough, but it's
different enough, but similar.
Yeah, but I mean, you come to life in any survival game.
You're right. You're right. Maybe
you
I'm just
have
trying
a
to
heads up display, and you have these things to manage, like to stay alive. And it's annoying. If like I've figured out I need to get wood and stone and I'm going to build something, there's like objectives in the corner of the screen or whatever. And then I suddenly realize like I've got to eat or I'm dying. Like my health meter, suddenly you discover your health meter and like it's going down and now your stamina won't, recreate because you're hungry and just all the things that come with the game. Like it's very inconvenient. Like you want to finish looking for that wood and now it's like, fuck, I gotta find some food. Like like start killing these freaking pals survival
these
games.
Are your initial thoughts?
No, I said my initial thoughts were like, is it looked childish to me, I think was my initial thought. Like it looked cartoonish.
Yeah, like for a younger audience, younger gamers.
Yeah.
That was my initial thought in a nutshell, because I can't say it's initial. My thoughts aren't initial anymore because we've done at least I've been digging a bunch digging up a bunch. I felt like I had to because I haven't played the game. I needed to dig up as much as I could to not sound like an idiot, and I'm still going to. Because dude, there's already like not thousands, but I'm exaggerating. But there's like a lot, like this. People have already dissected this game. There's so many videos on YouTube already and everything. So I felt like I had to really get into it. But my initial thoughts, like first time seeing it, first seeing gameplay, I think maybe on Game Ranks or something like that on their YouTube channel was same. It's like, wow, this looks like a combination. I hadn't had the Ark perspective yet. I had no idea just how much like Ark it is. And that's my opinion, by the way. As someone who hasn't played it, my opinion is it's a lot like Ark, based off what I've seen online. But my initial thoughts were, looks like it's for little kids, younger audience, younger gamers. It looked a lot like a combination of Fortnite with like the actual character that you play as looks a lot like a Fortnite character to me, combined with like kind of like Fortnite style graphics maybe, and landscapes and stuff, artwork with the Pokemon. That's really what it looked like. And then that was my initial thoughts. Mm-hmm. To me, it just seemed like another. It seemed like just another one of these Fortnite type games, Mm-hmm. It wasn't until like a few days later where I realized like that it's blowing up, that it's a breakout game, that it's just destroying the charts, that like in the first 2 days it broke records or something like that. That when I went online to check. No, rather, when I went online to watch the first videos, everyone in their videos at that time, which was like 10 days ago, were like, yeah, it's, the second most played game on Steam. I was like, oh. So I'm like, that was 9 days ago. Let me check right now. And I have the website here right now, and I can tell you that it's number one. At least according to the Steam charts at steamcharts.com, but even on Steam, on the Steam page proper, it says right here, top selling games, Palworld number one. Most played, Palworld number one. It says right now that if I'm reading this website correctly, and it's their official website, it says that there's like 762,321 players right now on Steam alone, playing right now. And then in second place is Counter-Strike 2. And in third place is Dota 2. So, yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't find that out until a couple of days later. And then it was like, okay, I need to and then we were talking about whether or not it might be episode worthy. Mm-hmm. Obviously it is. And, we were talking about how is there a possibility that Palworld's stealing our Ark community and why our servers have been so empty on Ark lately. We were talking about that.
And honestly, I will say, like I kind of feel like it deserves some heat. I'm going to predict, like we're going to start seeing, like what we're going to see on social media soon about it is that its numbers are going way down because it has so much room to fall. Like the percentages are going to look crazy when it kind of goes back down that list. I don't think it's got the staying power to stay up there like that because it's not done. Like it's super obvious when you're playing it that it's not done.
You don't think it's gonna hold the charts like Taylor Swift?
No way.
Taylor Swift's up
no
there.
way.
Dude. She's holding
and that's
the charts,
why somebody
man.
needs to say it now. Like it.
You don't think no?
No.
Because did you know this? Did they just released an update where they fixed a whole ton of bugs, and I feel like we're skipping a lot of stuff here. We haven't even talked about the general stuff of the game. And, sorry, they put out a roadmap, Chuck. How many games put out a roadmap? None of those Pokemons ever put out a roadmap where they tell you, hey, this is what you can expect from us within this, upcoming time frame. Did you see the roadmap? I sent it to you.
I did see the roadmap, but games like Ark has a roadmap. Valheim had a roadmap that never, it doesn't always really follow that. It always gets updated, and it's like, I know we said June, but now we're looking at next June. Like,
Well,
or whatever. You know, it's like
well, Palworld is an arc, man.
he.
No, I'm just. Hey, but hold on, check this out.
That's
This is
exactly. You're exactly right. Like I feel like that's what needs to be said. If people are responding to this taming and like breeding and things, that there's 100 critters going around there in Palworld, and,
Yeah, like a
and I
little
think
over.
last I checked, isn't there like 150 in Ark or something like that?
I don't know how many. I should because I'm an arc.
And it's so much more well developed. Like to me, the
they're in
characters,
early access,
the characters, yeah, and that's why
and
I
they
say
released their update 2 weeks after release, dude.
So
2
what are
weeks
people
after launch.
supposed to do, like, while they're waiting for it to be finished? Like, I mean, it clearly says it's not finished. You know, I'm not saying like they're being misleading or whatever, but that's why I'm saying people are going to get bored of that. And my question is why, if that many people are interested in a survival game and going to put that effort in, like, why not play Ark? It's the creatures are way more integrated together. The creatures in Palworld are pretty much just palling around. Like, there's not an ecosystem. It doesn't appear like there's definitely, like, you know, skills that they have, like when you train them and whatever. But when they're out there in the wild, like, kind of interacting, it just seems like they're just bopping.
Are you
around
trying to
me.
pull people away from Palworld and bring them over to Ark?
I'm questioning what are they doing there to begin with. I think
Because if you are, I mean, I'm not gonna fight you on that one. I'd love to have more. I'd love for them to come over to Ark, but I gotta. I don't know if I don't think. So you're saying you're saying the bubble's gonna burst.
if I'm positive it's going to burst.
The Palworld economy is gonna burst. Is what you're saying?
I'm not saying that, like, it doesn't have potential to be something, but I think it's not going to be for anytime soon, and unless, like, you know, like so you know, and imagine, like, if you had this sort of, like, small group of people, like you're hearing this is like a grassroots thing, like where, you know, they did it with very few people, and now you've got this large audience that's, like, you know, demanding this timeline be met, and you've got to bring in all these other people, and to scale things is very hard, you know, to keep that.
Yeah, but dude, dude, okay, they're and anyone's capable of this, but in this case, dude, like I think they're Japanese, dude. These people work like 25 hours a day. I know, and they are expanding. You're right. Anything's possible, but they've got the money now. How many? I think the game's. How much is the game? Do you have the Steam page open? Do you have the Steam page open? Come on, Chuck.
No,
Open that bitch.
Like, in Steam.
Oh, I need to know how much is it? How much does it cost in Steam? Because if I pull it up right now, it's going to come up in
$29.
pesos. Okay, times $29. Times that by 19 million, please.
I've heard a lot of variations on what other people paid. I've heard people are paying $9. I've heard people are paying $20, but I paid $29. So I'll do what you're asking.
Put it at 20. Fuck it. Put it at 20. $20 times 19 million.
That's 380 million. And like I say, you can really only be Cinderella at the ball once, my friend. Like, you now you've got something to lose. Like, and they if they fumbled that bag right there, like, it's gonna look bad, bro.
Yeah, you're right. But I don't know, man. I think they got the money. I think they got the drive. They definitely have the discipline and the loyalty to their game and their brand. I don't know, Chuck, dude. I mean,
yeah. I mean, I can't see any reason for me to not want them to succeed. But I'm also
releasing an update 2 weeks later with, like, an extensive list of patch notes and fixes. That video I sent you that said, like, 10 things that gamers hate in Palworld or something like that. That hell, they already fixed half of those glitches.
Yeah, but
That video doesn't even.
I feel like in social media today, there's this thing like where some things just sort of get the are like a freak of nature to the algorithm and make their way through somehow. And once they get past these certain points, it just goes on. And even though it might not, we all see flaws in it, we're just like, well, shit, that's what everybody's talking about. I'm gonna get me one
like
too. It's
like
almost like a
Steam
domino effect once it gets started, and it makes it all the way to East Tennessee, and suddenly I'm like, well, hell, I guess it's like, I like Ark, I'll play it, and then like you get in there and it I'm not saying it was a terrible time, and especially if I'd never played Ark, I started enjoying survival or whatever. I think it's definitely got some potential, but it's not going to hold the world's attention.
Are you a pal hater?
No.
You're coming on. I'm starting to look through your eyes.
I've only met a few
hater.
pals. The pals I met were pretty surly. It seemed like, you got to you got to craft these little spears, and then you have to go up to the pal and kind of start roughing him up a little bit, but not killing him. And then you throw those spears at him, and I actually never really got it done. I tried to tame some, but there's kind of like the higher the creature is, the harder it is for that to work, and there's like a percentage of how by how advanced you are and everything, like whether or not you'll be able to tame this thing. And yeah, that just wasn't going much in my favor. And when I think about how cool in Ark the knocking something out and putting the kibble or whatever in it and having to guard it in that ecosystem and everything, like how much more awesome it is. Like,
dude, I think you can do all that though. That's the thing. And I learned yesterday evening, I learned that, and I think we should maybe not right now, but because I think we're all over the place per usual.
Yeah, I'm sure most of our listeners are too, man. That's the way life comes at you sometimes.
This is the greatest gaming podcast in all history of gaming podcasts. I know that you can breed in Palworld, and not only can you breed, but it's just as complex as Ark's breeding system to the extent that you can pass on boosted stats and gain random mutation stats and then pass them on to the next generation of your pals.
Mm-hmm.
Right? There's I remember watching one particular video where it was just example after example where I was just like, dude, these guys are they're obviously Ark players. At the time I didn't know who the developer was or developers, the team or whatever, but I was just thinking in my mind, these people obviously are addicted to Ark and Pokemon, and they decided to make a game about it.
Yeah.
And they're like, what kind of graphics do we use? Let's use Fortnite/Pokemon graphics. And when I thought about it, I'm like, that's actually a great idea. Because I think there's something to survival games, as you and I both know. And I'm not going to say they're for everyone, but the people that do play survival games, man, there's something about them, It's almost like they give you this access to something that in real life would be intriguing or desirable to, you know what I mean? There's something to it. Where you can live out, you can live out a life adventure via a survival game that, depending on the survival game, you could actually
mm-hmm.
There's something to it. I don't know how to describe it. There's a hook.
And that probably will give it some staying power.
Yeah, and then with the Pokemon thing, Pokemon is simply just... I know this. You were mentioning that you kind of skid just past it. You just missed it, but for the generations that love and fell in love with from the beginning, or later on with Pokemon, it's a deeply loved franchise, and the games are loved, but the later games not so much. I haven't played many of the later games of Pokemon, but long story short, what I've heard is that the Pokemon fandom out there have long been waiting for a survival type game with Pokemon that was a proper Pokemon game where they could have do more with their Pokemon. right? And that hasn't come out. That hasn't manifested. And everyone, so like when Palworld comes out and offers that, it was just like, well, yeah, that was a huge influence on their numbers and on having such a successful release, because there was this whole, market of Pokemon gamers that were long awaiting something like that worked well, that was just fun co-op with all the stuff you could do in an open world that wouldn't be buggy and crashy, and that would, and my understanding is that there's still a lot of work to be done as it's an early access game. Mm-hmm. Something I hear repetitively is people saying that some parts of the map look like they're just kind of thrown together, not carelessly, but just kind of like mashed together, stuff like that. I don't know.
I think that's the thing about the whole thing. Like, how like an Ark, there's low, like the lore is so deep that like you don't even, you can't really, unless you just focused on it, like you really can't follow it or be like an expert in it, like, or whatever. Yeah. Like that it's super deep, and it's almost like just a setting that you're in. Like you're kind of like, I know like there was this cat Rockwell, and he, discovered the like there's obviously some shit going down. There's this other
person that got caught here called Elena, and then there was this other person like from from Asia back in like.
And the only like lore that I saw in this game, it said the towers are the key. Like it kind of says that right off the bat. And
well, Chuck, how long did you play?
30 minutes.
Okay,
30 minutes.
So all right. Yeah. You may have ran across another Explorer note if you played a little longer, perhaps.
Yeah.
Like you'll run into more.
I personally feel though, like you can kind of tell like the fact that it's in early access, and like they've had to put all these like you have to put the survival in there, you have to put the the taming and all that in there, then you have to put the guns in there, and then you have to put the base building in there, and all these little ingredients. It's almost like the lore probably could be the hardest of those. Like it's one you can't necessarily do. You can't throw it in there. Like you kind of have to have a writer, and have some deepness to it. Or people are going to call it out, and it almost feels like maybe they haven't done that yet. And maybe it can continue to grow, and it kind of mentions in the thing there on Steam about like how one of the reasons they're putting it out now is because they feel like any game like this should have the fan base sort of drive a little bit how it goes, and this is an opportunity, kind of like you're buying a house and they haven't put the flooring in yet, and you can pick the the hardwood and the ceramic, or, everybody vote, do we want to make this like this or that, or, more PvP or more PvE so yeah.
Yeah. Well, and if they open it up for, I don't know how that goes, or if that's even feasible yet, since it's still in early access, but there's also the whole modding world. That's just going to be, what we haven't done yet, and we're already like 30 something minutes in, is why don't we just read the like general information, like the general, just in case anyone out there's listening that hasn't played it and by chance doesn't know, or didn't know about Palworld until now. What's like the? Do you have Wikipedia open, Chuck?
Let's see. I think I changed it to that Steam page a second ago. Yes, there.
Steam page also has good information we can read off. But if you want to start with like just the general, what would it be? Synopsis? Description? Summary? If you don't have it open, I do.
Yeah, go for it, man. I'm getting it back open.
Reading from the wiki. I'm going to change one word here because it says upcoming, and I don't know if that really counts anymore since it's out. Palworld is an upcoming, pre-released, early access, action-adventure, survival, and monster taming game created and published by Japanese developer Pocket Pair. The game is set in an open world populated with animal-like creatures called pals, which players can battle and capture to use for base building, traversal, and combat. Palworld can be played either solo or online with up to 32 players on one server. It was announced in 2021 and launched through early access for Windows, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X and S in January of 2024. The game's comedic premise, which involves using firearms and equipping pals with them, has earned it the nickname Pokemon with Guns. Other elements, such as using creatures for food or placing them to work in mines and factories, have also garnered attention. It was generally well received, with praise for its gameplay content and satirical premise, but criticism for its reliance on shock humor and the use of unoriginal designs and mechanics. Oh. Palworld sold 8 million units in its first 6 days of early access and reached over 2 million concurrent players on Steam, making it the second highest played game of all time on the platform.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know, that might be old already too, that information. Yeah, and little tidbit. And when they originally actually, I'm just going to read this real quick. I'm just going to read this. How about that? I'm going to use another, I'm going to cheat again. Palworld is being developed, I'm reading from the wiki. Palworld is being developed and published by Pocket Pair, which is an independent company based in Shinagawa, Tokyo. It is their second early access open world survival project following Craftopia. Like it uses gameplay mechanics reminiscent of The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, but it has added creature collecting mechanics popularized by Pokemon franchise. Pocket Pair said that Pokemon was not one of the main inspirations. According to the CEO, Takuro Mizobe, the concept of Palworld is based on Ark, Survival Evolved, so that comes from the man. That was me right there injecting that little part. That comes from the man. The concept of Palworld is based on Ark, Survival Evolved. This is according to Wikipedia, of course. Which also had monster companions and dinosaurs. The survival mechanics and in-game tasks were inspired by Rust. Oh. Interesting. The game uses more original assets than Craftopia, which proved to be challenging for the team. Early in development, here's that part I wanted to get to. Early in development, it was decided to move Palworld from Unity, which powered Pocket Pair's earlier projects, to the Unreal Engine. And they put Unreal Engine 4 here. I've also seen it said that they used Unreal Engine 5, but suffice it to say that they moved over to the Unreal Engine in general. As they decided it was more suitable for heavier open world games. Ark is on the Unreal Engine.
Somewhere I saw like what this game looked like on that first, the Unity one. It wasn't good. It looked more
Fair
like
enough.
It kind of looked like like I was watching a retro video game or something from the 80s.
Yeah,
It's kind of how
gotcha.
it felt exactly. So
Like something back on the old PlayStation 2.
Yeah, there's something about how, like, even in cuteness like that, like high definition kind of gives you some other ability, like to kind of make it shine some kind of way that when it's not doing it, it looks really cartoonish,
Well, and going back to when you were talking smack.
Fuck. Pal. I don't like to be called
It says
pal.
here, it was first planned for release in 2022, but the deadline was extended to August 2023 as the scope of the project grew and the company hired more staff, and then once again to support dedicated servers on launch. When early access began, the game was estimated to be 60% complete. So, Chuck, what about when it's 100% complete? You don't think they're still going to keep them numbers? You think it's still going to...
No, I think it's a flash in the pan. I think they're gonna. It's a flash in the J pan. Is what it is.
The J pan. Oh man, I don't know, dude. We'll see. I mean, you're right. Eventually, the numbers, that spike starts to calm, and the spike goes down. But we'll see. Let's see what the sustained numbers are, right? After a month.
Yeah, let's see, once your base gets raided and all your little pals are dead, you going to load back in, start all that over again?
You having flashbacks?
I'm just, that's just how it is. There's a thing to survival game. It's like, oh, I want guns.
Well, you're talking about PvP though.
Then, my pal.
Okay. Well, that's a good segue. Hold on. Let me take advantage because, like I said, these people put out a roadmap, dude. And a lot, I don't remember, Pokemon doing that. Because this game, I say Pokemon because it's being compared a lot, right? Like, a lot of games don't do that. They don't, here's what we're going to be doing for you. Here's what we're going to do for you. So their future updates are, first on the list, I'm showing Chuck my legal pad.
That's right.
PvP, brother. PvP. So right now, no one's getting raided by other people. At least I don't think so. I haven't played the game. But it says that PvP hasn't been added yet. They're also going to add PAL PvPs with their inside arenas. With, arena PAL PvP.
Pokemon stuff.
Steam and Xbox crossplay. I'm staring at Chuck through the camera.
Steam and Xbox crossplay. Okay.
Yeah. Xbox feature improvements, server transfers, and migrations. That's important because what that means is you remember. Do you remember? Hold on. Do you remember the forest?
Yes.
Remember how one of us had to be on for everyone to be able to play together?
Yeah.
Say that's how it is right now. So they're gonna switch that so that that's not a thing anymore.
It's back to my question of why are these people not playing Ark? It just seems like it's right there.
Yeah, why the fuck aren't you playing Ark out there, huh?
Get out there.
Come on and play Ark.
What are you doing?
Come over to the big boys and big girls club.
Palworld,
Say it again.
Palworld.
Palworld.
I mean, I just feel like too, maybe
Come
sometimes as an older gamer,
Ascended.
you kind of have a complex about maybe people that don't play games or they don't understand it, and you tell them you're playing video games or whatever. I feel much more comfortable explaining I'm playing Ark than I'm playing Palworld.
I mean, there's levels, right?
There are levels.
Some people are gonna, depends on who we're look at. Yeah. Well,
yeah, and honestly, it doesn't matter. I mean, and it shouldn't matter, and probably says more about me than not. But it
Palworld hater,
it's there.
Dude.
It's there. It looks cute. It looks a little cute.
Look at that cute little game over there in my my Steam store. Look at that cute little game over there. $29.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what I mean? Imagine
It's got very positive reviews and comments, Chuck.
Let's say you're in the rec room
Look at
at
this.
the jail
Look
or
at this.
whatever, and they're like, hey, you guys want to play some UFC? And you're like, no, man, let's play Palworld.
Yeah, but if some big dude came up to you in prison and said, you said prison, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he came up to you and said, hey, man, we're playing Palworld. You going to say no? Actually, good sir. Actually,
yes,
good sir.
Good call.
I'm in. What are we betting? I got some bogeys in the cell. It's got very positive reviews. It has 175,705 reviews, and it says here that 94% of those are positive. So that's I mean, you're right, man. You're right. That's the thing. The spike will fall, but I think this game is going to continue to be a force to be reckoned with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, it's got a foothold now. It's got the backing to keep them servers jamming and things. But
I think we have another powerhouse here. Is what I'm saying, Chuck. I think we got another Fortnite. I think we got another Minecraft here. I think we got another Roblox or something like that. I think we got another. Give me another example, Chuck. What do we got? We got another Apex Legends here. You know what I'm saying? We got another. What do we got? Why are you laughing, Chuck? What do we got another of here?
I think we've got another.
Chuck, hold on. No, we need another example.
I just saw the finals.
We got another finals.
The finals is down 83% in its player base from what it was at peak, and that's what you're going to be hearing about Palworld.
Are you blaming Palworld? Are you blaming Palworld?
Yeah, I am blaming Palworld for everything that's wrong. Palworld cut me off on the interstate the other day. And I'm tired.
You fucking running. Did you almost hit Palworld when you ran across and stared into the headlights?
Palworld ate my dog's food. I mean, yeah. I'm looking at look there on the Wikipedia page at that promo picture. You know that. I saw some of them cats in there, man. Them cats are running around like crazy.
The main one?
Yep. And
there's only one, isn't there?
That big yellow thing back there, he sure does look a lot like that Pikachu, doesn't he?
Okay, let's what's up with that? Because that is kind of like one of the biggest like discussion topics around this whole thing is that Nintendo, they put out a statement where they didn't like specify by name the company or the game. They didn't like. They just basically said, we've heard many, I'm paraphrasing, but we've heard many inquiries from our community regarding a game that released, they literally said a game that released in January of this year, 2024, and we're investigating thoroughly if there's been any breach of our intellectual property, and we want to continue to make the Nintendo and Pokemon world, or something like that. I'm paraphrasing. You can go on and check that out if you want. We're not going to dig that up, but Nintendo put out a statement. And I think they have a reputation of being like legal savages when it comes to IP, violations and people stealing or trying to copyright their property.
Like, sure.
You know anything about that? You know anything about that?
I think they ain't got shit on them, man. I mean, I think it looks a lot like it, but it's obviously like they skirted that line pretty well, because otherwise they'd already be rolled up, in my opinion. Because I heard there was like you mentioned the modding community. I heard there was somebody that did mod it and made it look like Pokemon for real, put Pokemons in Palworld, and Nintendo jumped on them immediately. Said mod not. You ain't doing that. And probably the smartest thing Nintendo could do would be just to jump on board and say, "Come on over, pals. Welcome to Nintendo. We'll go." This is like when the AFC and the NFC started battling for the Super Bowl, son. Let's have it down. They
need to come out with like they need to, dodge, jab, hook.
Or let's all meet at the Survival of the Fittest on Ark and settle this, son. I'll be out there on the Giga.
1v1. 1v1 us.
Bring your pal and your Pokemon.
Pocket Pair versus Nintendo.
We'll go hello games.
1v1. You see him in the chat. 1v1. You won't. Pull up, bitch. Pull up. 1v1. Pull
Pokemon.
Up. I mean, I don't know nothing about nothing, but I feel like if Nintendo had something, they would have already filed a lawsuit or something to that effect, because every day that goes by is damaging for Nintendo.
Oh yeah,
every day that Palworld is out.
They would be playing Palworld in prison, because they would be in prison.
Think about it, dude. Like, I thought of I heard an angle on this. Every day that Palworld's out, it's got to be damaging to Nintendo, because like a lot of parents aren't going to know the difference between, Pokemon and Pals. So like when parents are out there and they're like, "Oh, I want Pokemon, I want a Pokemon," and then let's say parents go out there and see like what they think is Pokemon, but it's these Palworld, dude, and they got all these guns and they're just like shooting people and killing people. They're like, "Oh, I'm not going to get my kids those Pokemon." They're killing and shooting guns and stuff, and then that, do you know what I mean? Like, that's one way it could go, and another way it could go is it just like they're straight up losing actual proper Pokemon fans that are just going over to Palworld because it offers them that experience that they've always wanted.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
I do, and I feel like you're right. Every day it's out there, it's getting penetration. It's kind of penetrating the psyche and the pop
Fucking
culture.
penetrating, dude.
Because that's the thing, it's like us looking at it from the outside, it looks a little childish. But like if I fall in love with, that character and it kind of becomes one of my mascots, because obviously I'm okay with it. Mario looks childish.
You're gonna fall in love with Palworld, dude.
Yeah, once I fall in love with them little creatures and start raising them and stuff, I could see it. You got full penetration at that point. Like you're into somebody's mind, and you're gonna want
fully pal penetrated.
Yeah, you're into Palworld.
Your pals are penetrating.
We've talked about that buy-in before too. Like that all of a sudden the graphics look better to you. It's just like it kind of snaps in your head, and obviously that's happened to a lot of people.
And if they're dropping updates every 2 weeks and giving you roadmaps and you're playing it and already having that much fun, and then you're like, God, this game is going to be so sick when they release the PvP option, and it's going to be so sick when they fix this or they fix that, or when they introduce this and introduce that.
I think
remember it's only 60% done. Maybe 65 now since they released an update.
But I feel like the fanatical fans are going to want them to make it deep and involved, and that is going to turn players away. It's one of the reasons.
What do you mean? Like with story
it's like
and lore?
one of my thoughts of after playing this game is like, why are people not playing Ark? But I guess if I answer that question for myself, it's because ultimately one day you wake up and realize it's taken a lot of your time, and and I think normal people kind of see that and they're like, okay, like I need to put a clear boundary up here, and like, I obviously don't have that kind of self-control. So like, that next thing I know, I've put 4,000 hours into this video game. I could have learned to play the freaking violin or something during that time period, but instead I'm an expert on how to tame
and how to run the caverns of the lost faith and shit.
Yeah, that's right. Put that on the resume.
Well, hey, you know what? There's that, or there's, fucking Ark shot themselves in their own foot way before Palworld even came out. That's also an option. People aren't playing Ark because they haven't been playing Ark far long before Palworld came out.
Fuck.
Ark's done it to themselves. We're just, like you said, insane.
It's true.
And we continue to play the damn game because we're obsessed with the fucking Ark. I remember in like our third episode of this podcast, we were already like, all right, Chuck, all right, Ovox, we got to stop mentioning Ark so much. Mm-hmm. And I think we pulled it off for like an episode. Mm. And then it just continues to fucking surface in every episode. And here we are, 42, and we're still...
It's Ark season,
Ark creeps its way into our podcast episodes.
Well, this game, this game asked for it because it obviously was based on Ark.
It's so much like... Can we actually just kind of really quickly like mention a few things?
Let's go.
Where it's like Ark. I want to mention the first one. The boss towers, those are obviously obelisks. Mm-hmm. Right, aren't they?
I don't know that for sure yet. I do think like I've heard that's like where you summon the bosses, but I didn't get up to that point. I did see some bigger than other pals walking around though, like that were, I would say 10 to 15, if not 50 times the size of the other pals. So I wondered if those weren't bosses, but.
I think those might be. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I steered clear of that. It looked like that.
Like, and look, there's things that are like, you could say, okay, well, this is like Ark, but it's like, no, that's like all survival games. Those things exist too. Like you have crafting, you have eating food and eating water. Like that's all. Those are there. I get that. But there's a few things that are like, when you look at them, at least on screen in the gameplay. Like I can talk about them here, and you'll be like, yeah, I guess that's like Ark, but like you got to see them, you got to see footage. Have you seen the technology tree on Palworld? Mm-hmm. It looks just like the Ark
engram tree.
The engram tree. It looks just like the engram tree. Another thing, the Explorer notes. According to the videos I've seen online, there's Explorer notes on the Palworld map.
Yeah.
So that's just like Ark. Another thing.
The Pal Spears. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I heard that there's biomes. Like it's one big map with a bunch of different biomes, just like Ark.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because biomes is a very Ark thing, right? Like a lot of other survival games don't necessarily have biomes. They just have one. Well, I guess they do. Like Rust does. Rust does have like 3 biomes. You know, area. Like the cold, the desert, and the foresty. Yeah, I guess Well, still, that still caught my attention a bunch. Yeah, it does. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, the Pal Spears are very much like cryopods.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And the crafting bench is almost identical.
What about the taming? Oh, it isn't taming because you're sphering them. You're sphering them.
You got to kind of fight them a little bit too, though. And I will say, like you know how in Ark, like suddenly like there's growling and jumping and stuff, especially when there's no lag and it really kind of feels scary. Like this felt a little more tongue in cheek. You know, it's almost like that little character. Once I started punching him, he was like, and kind of back up.
Like there's an innocence to it.
Yeah.
But a violence to it at the same time.
Yeah. Next thing I know, he's launching fireballs at me, and I'm like, "Hey, whoa. Like, you know, that kind of vibe."
Funny.
Like, yeah. So, yeah, it's got a lot of potential, but I do still stand behind the fact that it's going to be a flash in the pan to a pretty large degree, and those numbers are going to go down, and then they're going to have to grind it and hire more people and. You know, start keeping up with that timeline and
dude, how about the developers, man? Like, I don't remember everything that I read off the top of my head in these articles online, but I guess these developers, like the main dude, Takuro Mizobe, like, I'm not even really sure he's a game developer. Like, obviously he is. Like, they've got Nevergrave, Craftopia. AI art thing. They have other, what's it called? AI art crafter or something. I don't remember the name of the game, but they have other games.
Yeah, the story you keep hearing is that like the main developer had to teach everyone, the other developers, how to code in Unreal Engine 5. And that there's this thing like, you know, obviously the resources were fairly limited. They're having to use flash drives. They started
with $10,000. They started with $10,000, and yeah, they had to use a bunch of flash drives, USBs and shit.
Yeah, so
I mean, Homeboy started it in 2010. He says he did a DS development at Nintendo Games Seminar. Graduated from Tokyo Institute of Technology in 2012. He joined JP Morgan Securities in 2012. He founded Resopress Incorporated and released Stories.jp, which must be a website, I suppose. He founded a virtual currency exchange called CoinCheck. And then in 2015, he founded Pocket Pair.
Yeah.
So not very gaming resume.
No, he's kind of been all over the place to some degree, but it does seem like a lot of times in these industries, though, like it. One of the things I'm noticing from this, it's almost like this small grassroots group has shown up the big AAA game developers by taking, you know, over the top prize here. And usually, you know, I think in those situations, it seems to me like. You know, they'll show up and want to buy them out and those kind of things and kind of bring them into the fold, kind of like you're going to need to run these servers and you need our help. And
yeah, well, he's bringing, see, he can, that. It's funny you mention that because he did start with the 10K, and I remember watching a video online about these guys, specifically Takuro, that like, and this is, you know, this isn't first source. I heard this from a YouTube video, so take this with a grain of salt. But like, apparently they were in deep debt, and that this guy had even taken loans out from like Yakuza, dude. You know, because he's right there, dude. He's right there in Shinagawa, like right by Shinjuku and all the red light districts and stuff, and Shibuya. So I mean, he's got all that shit going on right around him. I guess he, don't take that as fact, but a bunch
Yeah,
of
they put it all
loans,
on the
money,
line here.
yeah, he put it all on the line. And then they hired like some like I don't remember. I don't want to guess who it was, but let me see. About Us.
Oh man, I just feel like
Let me go back to the. Hold on, I don't want to forget this because it is interesting. Like it must have been super risky because he like. I think this is the person, Hiroto Matsutani. Hiroto Matsutani was like I think the programmer, and when they hired him, he did have like more knowledge, and they're like he was the one that was like, hey, let's go over to Unreal Engine, and we'll make this thing pop. And then I think this is the girl that they hired, Daiki Kizu. And I think what happened with her was like she had went to a whole bunch of places to try and get a job, and everyone was like, nah. And then she showed up with Pocket Pair, and they decided to give her a shot. And she was like she became one of the like fundamental main reasons why the game even worked out. Because like I think she like she lifted a huge load for the development team in making this game even possible, and like everyone had said no to her. It was like it's just like you said, like there's something to this game that's kind of like it's inspiring how these people came together and made this thing that just kind of shows like to all the AAA developers out there that hey, you know what, watch out. Because look what we can do with very little, and just some love, some passion, some in this case ikigai. Ikigai is like how do I describe this? Like your life purpose in Japanese. All like Japanese people have like ikigai. It's like their life passion, their life purpose, and they do it with passion and love and everything. You know what I mean? Kind of like that mentality.
Yeah.
And man, you know, watch out. Watch out, yo!
Yeah.
Watch out, Nintendo, Pokemon, Arc, Wild Card, and all these companies.
Yeah.
I hope he paid off the Yakuza. I wouldn't want them.
No. I ain't
Right?
saying nothing. I ain't saying nothing. Heard or said nothing. Hell yeah, I hope they did.
But I mean, that's really it. We've got this game. It's had this breakout, this explosive trend. It reminds us of how, Chuck, you kind of described this, of how all of a sudden a random video on YouTube will get pulled by the algorithm and will just go insane like a wildfire and get views and subscriptions and it almost feels like that, doesn't it? Yeah. Like, and that's not to take away from the development team or anything, but like to see this game come out that clearly does have room for improvement can just blow up. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah.
It feels like almost like a YouTube type algorithm type thing.
Yeah.
Is that kind of what you were trying to describe earlier, right? Like,
yeah. And I feel like it's not always based on merit. I mean, hell, I think I had a couple fidget spinners there for a while. Like those didn't really get me very far. Like,
did they relieve stress?
I guess. I haven't really been, asking myself where are they, or can I find some more, keep that going. But yeah, I guess I feel a little skeptical of that here especially when I know that there are better things out there, and it's also in early access, and I feel like that was sort of the story of Valheim to some degree. Like I feel like I got caught up in that. Like I kept seeing videos of these big troll fights, and I ended up playing it, and it was in early access, and you start going into these biomes that aren't finished, and hearing all this, watching the timeline and the what is it, the path, the road map or whatever you call it, and then you see those promises not follow through. Because I think one of the problems you run into is there's finishing the game, and then there's supporting the servers, and the the kind of the customer service, like keeping the tech up, and then there's it'd be hard to delegate all that out just right. Because I will say it crashed on me at one point. It did crash on me. That's how I finished playing. That's
who
why.
developed Valheim? Where are they from?
A bunch of Vikings, obviously.
They ain't no Japanese savages,
Trolls.
man. Dude, and I mean savages in a positive way. Japanese savage. You know what I mean, dude?
Yeah.
These guys are going to deliver, man.
Dude.
And they're not going to do it the Nintendo style. They're going to do it like the samurai style, dude. I'm having another darn brain fart.
Dude, we just saw a bunch of Swedes make a Indiana Jones game, man. I mean, anything's possible out there, but...
yeah, well, we'll see how that game does, too. But this game's out, and it just destroyed them. And I mean, 7 million copies in 5 days, I think. At least that's another little statistic data point I wrote down.
I got one, baby.
You got one?
I got one. It don't come with a box or anything, but yeah. Yeah, I got one. I got in there. I started thinking, man, I've spent $30 on a lot less. Might as well get in there. With a lot less potential gain. And,
what else, Chuck? Is there anything else you want to mention about Palworld? I don't think I've forgotten anything.
Yeah, no, I know we've kind of jumped all over the place a little bit, but I feel like folks kind of, have an idea of what the game is out there. And I think my message is like,
what do you project? What's your projection? What are your projections? Where do you think this game is going to be by the end of 2024?
About where Valheim is. Like it was popular at one point, and it probably still has a lot of people playing and everything, but it won't be at the top of this list, of the Steam list there, the Steam charts.
Do you think it'll be out of early access? Do you think it will continue to be popular? Do you think it will cease to be popular? Do you think it'll make it to PlayStation? What are your projections for Palworld?
I'm gonna give it about a 50% chance to still be relevant, like a year from now.
Damn, man, you're fucking hating on Palworld. Whew.
But I guess I think just sort of in the sphere of creators out there talking about this game and everything, I wanted us to just sort of put some alternative views out there, and one of those is it sucks that they're taking people away from Ark. We could, these are obviously some,
You're accusing them of taking people away from Ark.
That we could be raiding. They could be building bases on our server. There's probably about 15 spots left on our server. They could be building bases and mining stuff
that I later. War.
Yeah, we
come over to Ark and declare war.
And I hate that.
Do it.
But yeah, if you're over there playing Palworld and you the part you liked about it was the survival and the taming and the breeding, then man, come on over and enjoy yourself. And there's a whole world out there, to be discovered. But honestly, I do wish them the best.
You like one map? How about 12?
I think I'm obviously using some dramatic license because we're given that point of view. But I wouldn't have talked about it if I didn't think, wow, this is obviously pretty cool and needs some respect for sure, and much respect to them for doing it on the cheap and giving that story of. Shit, we could probably put together 10 grand. I mean, I've got some game ideas.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, you're right. I mean, I think my projections are a little different. They've made a tremendous amount of money. It looks like they're trying to expand. I don't know what their plans are to do, but if they make wise decisions, I can see my projections would be that this game will fill in the gaps. They mentioned that it's only 60% done, so I think they'll probably focus on maybe completing that 40% that's missing to be completed by the end of this year. So maybe they can bring it out of early access and have a full release. and I think that their spike will certainly drop. You know, those are trends. There's that period where you're in love with a game, you know, and you just cannot stop playing it. That'll eventually subside, and the numbers will stabilize, and then we'll get to see what their overall over time, you know, month by month numbers are going to be. And I think that those numbers are going to be high. You know, that's what I project. Oh, I got a fly made it in. It's about to die.
Mosca.
That mosca is going to morir here in about 10 minutos. Weird little sorry, I got distracted. Yeah, I think the game's gonna kill it, dude, especially if because you know, we're not looking at, this isn't like some huge company. This isn't Nintendo that has all these like policies and things that they have to abide to, with probably leadership that has a different mindset and a different like way of looking at doing business. You know, there's like a whole generations of the way they do things in Nintendo, you know? Like, I wonder why PlayStation hasn't gotten access to this game. And I wonder if it has something to do with the fact that they're all over there in Japan. And, you know, like, for these guys at Pocket Pair to link up with Steam, that's, like, Steam isn't in Japan. You know, I wonder if there's something going on there. But yeah, I think they're going to do all right. We'll see. But you're right. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. And I'm sure that we'll come back to this and talk about Palworld again, perhaps, as things develop, right? You know, it's early access. It's only been on a few weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see. I'm, you know, like I said,
keep playing it, man. Keep playing it.
I wish them the best, and I hope it inspires more people to make more Ark-like games. You know, I think there's a formula there, especially on the taming side of things, and you know, owning creatures and raising them and breeding them. And
if you could see a marriage of Ark with any other game and have it manifest in a new game that you could play tomorrow, what would that marriage be? For me, it would be a marriage of Ark with like Warzone or something like that, where we could have some legit, you know, like a military combat version of Ark.
Oh wow, we'd be like in a platoon together or something.
Yeah, like some sort of like, you know, like, or like a marriage of like Metal Gear Solid with Ark. Mm-hmm. That would be sick. Something like that.
That would be sick.
Little tactical espionage action from the back of a T-Rex, baby. Let's go.
What about Beat 'em and Eat 'em in Ark? Like, you think that would work out?
What's
like,
Beat 'em and Eat 'em?
That sex video game from back in the 80s.
Oh, that's right.
The guy standing up top saying,
way to conclude the episode. All right, we're going to wrap it up with that, everyone. If you enjoyed this episode, it's a wrap. Please let us know. You can let us know by giving us a nice rating and review on whatever you happen to be listening to us on, whether it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, what else? I think we're on Google Podcasts, Stitcher. We're out there on all of them. Drop us a rating and review, and that would be super helpful for us. It gets us out to more people, and if you know anyone that likes gaming, share the podcast with them. I'm not sure that many people, you know that there's gaming podcasts out there. And I tell you what, it's nice to listen to a gaming podcast when you really want a game, but you can't because you're working or something, or you're driving. Like, there's times like when I really want to play Ark. So I'll go and listen to podcasts about Ark. They're out there. I just, you know.
Yeah, what if you're playing Palworld and you got to grind out and collect some wood and stone and stuff? Like, just throw New Wave Gaming on there.
Throw on this episode and listen to Chuck talk shit about Palworld.
Makes total sense.
He's a hater. No,
then download Ark and
he's
get
not
on
a
with
hater.
your
He's
life.
not a hater. I think he loves it deep down. He just wants you to come over and try Ark, play with big boys and big girls.
I'm playing Palworld right now.
Come learn what real suffering is over on Ark.
Yeah, exactly.
While you're waiting for the PvP access on Palworld to come out, that's actually good advice. That's a good final comment for this episode. If you're excited for PvP on Palworld, and you haven't really experienced PvP, like Rust-style PvP or Ark Survival Evolved, Survival Ascended style PvP, you need to come over and play PvP with us on Ark. It'll prepare you for a lot. For heartbreak, despair, deception,
pain,
thievery, pain. It will prepare you.
You learn to live.
It'll also prepare you for great joy, triumph, victory.
Sense of purpose.
Lots of different feelings. But that is actually a good advice. So, first, give us a nice rating and review, and then download Ark Survival Ascended.
Start there.
And if you want to find us on the social media, you can find us pretty much everywhere with the handle at NWG Podcast. We're out there.
Everywhere.
And we want to interact with you. If you got any comments or anything you didn't hear us mention that we should have, or any thoughts on Palworld, let us know. And we'll see you in the next episode. This one was episode 42, right, Chuck? I don't forget. It's episode 42. So we'll see you in the next one.
42.
Awesome. Well, enjoy your weekend, everyone. Thanks.
Yeah, baby. Everybody have a good one, and see you on the next one.